Okay, casting a game here, especially for some of the newer players to Starcraft at Findex. So what we like to do is introduce the two players on the map. So we're going to go up in the top right-hand corner to start. In the yellow colours, we have Findex's Icy Cow, otherwise known as Danny Lee from Finance. And in the comments, we see our red Terran player down in the bottom left, already filling the chat with rubbish banter, is Findex's Jim Gaynor, otherwise known as Michael Maygothling. So if you're new to StarCraft, what we basically have is a two-player map here with two different races, the Terran and the Zerg. The Zerg are sort of these alien-looking creatures with the creep all over the ground around their base, and the Terran are the humans. So the good old humans versus aliens battle in StarCraft 2. So I've got a co-caster with me, Wilson Munn,
Hey.
and Wilson's going to talk a little bit about the openings.
So yeah, in StarCraft we mostly have build order openings. So what you can see is Michael is going for pretty standard build, going into a 10 depot, which is when I say numbers, it means like food supply at the top right. So you build like a depot at like before you get supply bulk, and you build barracks to build like army units, and basically build gas to get like more advanced units. So basically it's a game about getting resources and stuff. So
Correct.
you want to gain as much resources as possible and build a huge army and try to kill the other person.
So in its most basic form, we've got these blue minerals in the base. Maybe if you hover over the Terran player, just for example, his workers are collecting these minerals back to his home center. And then he's got these gases, these Vespian gases either side. So you can only have 3 on each Vespian gas and up to 16 workers on the minerals. And so he's consistently building workers to try and pull these resources in. And he's using that money to build out army and production. So Michael the Terran, we can see he's thrown down a barracks. What he's done is he's put his supply depots and his barracks at his front ramp, and that's just to wall it off in case an army comes up and wants to run into his base. And we also see him building out another command center to try and expand onto the map. So he'll be going down to take another base soon enough. What are you seeing up at the Zerg's end?
That's right. So we have a Reaper going into the Zerg base, trying to do some harass. Harass is basically just poking into the enemy's base and trying to see if you can get some worker kills. So the most important thing about this is getting some scouting information, seeing what the Zerg is doing, because StarCraft is a game of imperfect information, and if you know what the opponent's doing, you can build.
Here's a bit of action. He's going to... and I don't know if you watched the front of the Terran's base, but the Zerg is trying to rush in with some Zerglings. This little bit of skirmish action, and Michael's getting his base attack, so he's going to have to pull some workers.
He got some
to
Helens
repair.
now, so it's fine. Helens are pretty good, so they do damage in a line pretty much, and they do extra damage to light, as you can see from my hover.
So Michael's cleaned that up now, so we're seeing Michael expand out, get rid of those lings. I mean, in an ideal world, Danny would have pulled those lings away from the front. It's just a reaction and timing thing. But what he is going to do, he's going to run a Zergling in to scout that Michael's expanding. And he's got confirmation of that. So all that tells him is Michael's not going all in necessarily, not just building an army and running across to attack. He's looking at an economic opening.
That's right. So basically, usually, if you're going to go a bit aggressive on your opponent, you probably build more production buildings, such as small barracks, to just get more units out and just attack the opponent. Or if you're going like an economy sort of build, like Michael is, you get like 2 extra more bases, trying to get more resources, and you can use that to sort of spend on more units in the future.
Okay, so what we've got at the front is the Hellions are up harassing Danny's front of his base. Danny's got a nice defense. He's got a bunch of roaches and queens, and there doesn't seem to be much opportunity to do any economic damage. The general rule of thumb in StarCraft is that you try and kill their economic part of their base, so where their workers are. You try and slow their resource gathering, and therefore you slow the amount of money they have to invest in army, and eventually you sort of are able to overwhelm them with a bigger army size. So Michael attempted to sort of run in and put a little bit of pressure with those Hellions, but unsuccessful.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, StarCraft is a game about economics too. The more money you have, the more you can spend it on stuff. And yeah, pretty much just getting more money and getting more stuff, and you win. That's
correct. So you
yeah,
have a different type of unit for every situation in StarCraft. So Michael's using those 2 Hellions, which are kind of like these motorbikes with flamethrowers on their backs. He's using them to move around the map, to have a look at what sort of bases Danny's building. You can see that he's taking a 3rd base. He's just sort of slowly attacking it, and what that gives him is information. Oh, but we've got a big attack here, and I don't know if Michael's seen it. If you just go down to that bottom left in the Terran's base, Danny is putting a Nidus network, which is a tunnel into the back of Michael's base, and Michael has not scouted this. He only just figured it out now, and Danny's unloading a bunch of roaches into his base, so this is going to be pretty hard for Michael to hold. He does have some nice liberators, so some air units, which can't be hit by the roaches, and some tanks, which those tanks do big area of attack splash damage. The problem is he's obviously seen some economic damage already happen in his mineral line. He doesn't have any workers mining right for him now, so that's a bit of a problem. But
I think it's okay. Yeah, he defended pretty well. He didn't lose much harvesters, and he's cleaning up the attack now, and he says he can go back to mining soon. If we see the income tab, which is pretty important, 39 harvesters to 34, which indicates that the Zerg is pretty low on harvesters. Because Terran have something called like mills and stuff, they can get a lot of money without having a lot of harvesters, which is one of the benefits of playing Terran.
That's true.
Whereas Zerg doesn't have that luxury, so they need workers to mine minerals.
Yeah, and look, Michael's done a really good job of just cleaning up that Overlord that was sitting at the back of the base with Viking, and that just means that he's not going to have another chance to drop one of those sort of Nidus networks into the base. Michael's now heading across to do a bit of counter-attack damage, and this could actually be a deadly attack if Danny doesn't switch on here, because I just think those siege tanks have the opportunity to do really big splash damage.
Yeah, he needs to siege here, if not he's gonna get run over by the roaches. He doesn't have stim yet, and he doesn't have
He's not sieging because of the Ravagers, because he's worried about those biles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
yeah, no combat shields and the late stim will help him to clean up this drop pretty easily.
Really easily. So we've got a really nice back and forth game. The Terran player has a 3rd coming down. Michael probably needs to start working on double upgrades off 3 bases, throw an armory down, extra factories, which he seems to be going for now.
So, what are upgrades, Tom?
Upgrades are basically a really hard question to answer. Really, either weapons or armor for your battle troops. Yep. So making sure that they get their weapons upgrades means they do more damage per hit, and the armor makes them stronger, so they're harder to kill in the battlefield. So it's kind of good to invest in those as the game goes on, because you want your army to sort of be more powerful and stronger.
Yeah, it's like putting money in the bank and just making it an interest over time. Then you get more out of it, because like if you get one upgrade, all of your units get the upgrade, which means like from 6 to 7 damage on a marine, 7 times like 30 marines could be like devastatingly good. So it's a great investment. Yeah. So
look, this is shaping up as an interesting game. What Danny's done, I mean, his Roach Ravager hold on Michael's sort of counter attack was nice. I think the problem is he's sort of 10 harvesters behind, and I think he needs to really expand out and get that 4th base a little bit earlier. Michael's got a drop coming in now, full of Marines in that medevac, if you can trace that.
Yep.
And here they come.
He's got it.
So he's starting to kill some drones.
Getting the harvesters. Lots of harvesters. Oh, he's getting nice bowls in. Oh, he's got the medevac. Beautiful bowls.
Yeah, he stopped that nicely.
Yeah.
But Michael's at the same time gone and dropped his natural, so there's more Marines down there.
He's trying to play like a Korean. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
So Michael's trying to attack in multiple different places at the one time to ensure that he kills some harvesters and keeps that economic lead going. Danny's going to have to really transfer some harvesters out of his main down to his natural when he gets the chance to just equalise his bases. He's got good coverage on his third. And interestingly, Danny's been working on dropping a spore at each of his bases to ensure that drops aren't as devastating to him. Still like him to maybe drop one spine per base. It's just a good investment in defense, or more queens, one or the other.
Yeah, definitely. So the spine can just defend any ground, sort of harass, which is like a static defense sort of thing. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or you can just leave some roaches at like each base, which is what I do usually. Just like
Yeah.
four on each base, and it usually stops any marine drops and stuff.
So Danny's got his evolution chambers, which are basically the upgrades for Zerg, but he's not researching any, so he's going to shortly have to sort of start to do that. Or is he going all in? And he may be. He may be actually going all in.
He has
Because
a
he's
lot of roaches here. It's 4,000 minerals.
He needs to make this attack count. He needs to get his bile right on top of everything.
Oh, he's got nice bows on the tanks. He's pushing
This
through.
is the big battle of the game, and if he doesn't win this, I'm fearful it's game over because he just doesn't have the economy to sustain it otherwise.
He's
So he needs to
yeah.
keep biling, keep using those biles. Michael's microing really well. It's certainly not over yet. Even though it looks like Danny's done a lot of damage, I think Michael can pull this back actually.
Ooh, there's a
He's
Thor
got a
out now.
Thor, and he can maybe repair that Thor.
I think he's fine. The Thor can kill everything now. It's very strong. It's a +1 damage too. So
Danny's got to do a lot of economic damage here, and it kind of didn't happen. Oh, they've evened up a little bit in harvesters. He built a couple of waves of drone. Just definitely needs his
upgrades.
fourth base and his upgrades. Yeah.
Yeah, the upgrades are the crucial one because with every one less upgrade, you're doing less damage per unit. So it scales up to be pretty big in the late game.
Michael's got 1-1 on his mech, and he's got 2-1 on his bio. So, whereas Danny's got 0-0, it's going to really end up hurting him here. His roaches popping now, and Michael's moved to what is that, 6 base?
Yes.
Wow. See, for those watching at home, little red pieces are creeping all over the map. You know, Michael's expanding out and taking all these bases. I suppose so is Danny. Danny's got 5 bases now, and you can see that sort of purple ooze that's all over the map. That's something that the Zerg spreads around. It's called creep. And it's helping them to have vision, and their units are faster when they're on the creep. Unfortunately for Danny, and I feel like trying to help him out here, if you look at his third, he wasn't mining. He's just actually put all those workers back on mine after they were just static for a long period. So good pickup from him. He's spreading creep around as well.
Yeah, and also a big thing about Starcraft is there's a maximum supply of 200. So usually some players will just like defend until they get 200 out of 200, which is the maximum supply of army you can get. That's one strategy you can do. It's called turtling. It's a pretty cool strategy. Or you can go like aggressive drops, like attack in 2 places at once just to distract them and stuff. There's all sorts of different strategies you can use to just beat your opponent that way.
I like what Danny's doing here. So he's basically pushing up onto the edge of his creep rather than sitting back, because he's trying to make Michael siege up those tanks. When they go into siege mode, they can't move, but they do damage. So he's forcing them to siege. And so if Michael wants to move forward, he's got to unsiege those tanks and sort of move ahead forward. So Danny's doing a really good job of that. Make him siege up. He shouldn't, if he can help it, follow that medevac, because what it's going to give Michael a chance to do is re-siege those tanks, which he's trying to do now.
Oh, the tanks are on siege. He's getting some. Pretty nice.
Oh, good bars. Good bars.
It was close. He was gonna get the 2 tanks in the medevac.
Danny really needs that spine and spore at each base. Look at it go.
Yeah, it's getting dropped now. In multiple places.
And he's going to get dropped up in that top left base in a minute if Michael can remember that medevac.
Yeah, it's getting the creep too, which is nice. That army is very small. We just crush it and just defend it drops after. Or we can do the opposite, which is okay too. Oh, he's fighting with part of his army though. Like I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
It's,
not good.
Yeah.
So he can get on us around if he comes around here, gets these tanks.
Yeah, he's getting very low on army supply though. He's saying
Yeah.
he's 260.
It's gonna look like GG here, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's great
GG.
play. Good play, good play.
Well played from both players.